Hello and welcome to the Economics of Enhancing the Conditions in Greenhouses revision video from scienceworksheets.co.uk. Please like, subscribe and comment to support the channel. A quick recap of limiting factors. A limiting factor is the factor that's in shortest supply, and limiting factors for photosynthesis are temperature, carbon dioxide concentration, light intensity and the amount of chlorophyll. Key points for limiting factors: only one factor is limiting at a time. Increasing a factor only increases the rate until another factor becomes limiting, and the rate eventually plateaus when a factor is no longer limiting. A greenhouse is a structure made of transparent material that traps heat and allows light in, providing controlled conditions for plant growth, and there are several ways that farmers can increase the rate of photosynthesis within a greenhouse. Light intensity can be increased by using artificial lighting. This, however, has a high electricity cost. Temperature is increased by using electric or paraffin heaters within the greenhouse, but the electricity is expensive and there is also a cost to the paraffin. Carbon dioxide concentration can be increased by burning paraffin in paraffin heaters because that produces carbon dioxide, but again there's a cost to using the paraffin. This is useful because increasing photosynthesis will increase the crop yield and therefore the potential profit that the farmer makes. However, there are additional costs to optimizing the conditions for the limiting factors, which will reduce the profit. Cost effectiveness. Farmers need to consider if changing environmental conditions will be cost effective. It will be cost effective if extra income from the higher yield is greater than the cost of adding the additional environmental factor. It is not cost effective if the rate of photosynthesis increases only slightly, but it costs a lot to change the environmental conditions. For example, in winter there is a low natural light intensity, so the addition of artificial lights is likely to be cost effective, as light is a limiting factor. However, in the summer, when there is a high natural light intensity, addition of artificial lights is unlikely to be cost effective, as the light is probably not a limiting factor. Heating. When the temperature is already near the optimum temperature, this would waste money because the cost of heating is high, and you would only get a small gain in the rate of photosynthesis or the yield. Adding carbon dioxide only works if light intensity and temperature are not limiting. Always remember, if you increase a limiting factor, the rate will only increase up to the point where another factor then becomes limiting. You may have to use data analysis for some exam questions. So, for example, evaluate which factor is the most cost effective to add to a greenhouse. Use the data. Now, if we look at the data, adding carbon dioxide is probably the most cost-effective option. This is because carbon dioxide increases the yield by 15% at a cost of £100 a week, which is cheaper than extra light, that is £200 for a 20% increase, and heating, which is £300 for only a 10% increase. This suggests that carbon dioxide is the limiting factor in the greenhouse. Increasing carbon dioxide increases the rate of photosynthesis, so the yield increases significantly without high costs. Heating is the least cost effective because it gives the smallest increase in yield for the highest cost in money. Thank you for watching. See our revision notes, the link is in the description.